Disinvited, then re-invited again to speak Saturday ahead of the graduation. He led the class in prayer.
A time like this demands strong minds, great hearts, true faith, and ready hands. Leaders like Martin and Malcolm. Leaders like Sojourner and Tubman. Leaders like Washington and Du Bois. Leaders like Gandhi and Mandela. And yes, God, even leaders like our beloved President Barack Hussein Obama.
Reverend Kevin Johnson joins me right now. Sir, it's good to have you here, and I want to start with the fact that you praised the president there along with other important African-American leaders, but the controversy over your speaking at Morehouse stemmed from this scathing editorial that you penned in the Philadelphia Tribune, and I just want to show a part of it to everybody. You said, in sum, when one compares the first African-American president to his recent predecessor, the number of African-Americans in senior cabinet positions is very disappointing. Clinton, 7, Bush, 4, and Obama, 1. Obama has not moved African-American leadership forward, but backwards. Sir, I want to ask you right now, do you still stand by that criticism of the president today?
Well, when you look at it, Anthony Fox, the mayor of Charlotte, has now moved forward, and he's about to be nominated, or has been nominated for the secretary position of transportation. And when you look at that, we are starting to see some progress. The facts are the facts, 7-4-1, but now you can say 7-4-2. I do applaud the president. I'm a supporter of the president, not a critic. I'm a supporter of the president. I love him. I love what he stands for. But the reality is, when you look at what's happening with African Americans, we really have to be more vigilant. Just because we voted does not mean that we do not have a voice.
John Sylvanus Wilson, who is the president of Morehouse, spoke with our Craig Melvin over the weekend about the president's address, what he had to say to the class of 2013. I want to play just a portion of that for everybody. Take a look.
He said, nobody's going to pity you. Nobody's going to feel as if that your hardships matter a whole lot. You have to pull yourself up, and you have to work hard. That was his message today, and it is a great message. He's been a great president, and he sounded just like a Morehouse man today.
What's your reaction, sir, to the president's message, what he offered there, the leadership vision or the inspiration that he might have cast? How did it play to you?
Well, first of all, let me thank President Wilson and the Board of Trustees of Morehouse College for the invitation to speak at my alma mater. It was a great opportunity. Actually, the clip that you played earlier was from the prayer I prayed last year. But on Saturday, I preached a message called Dare to be an Eagle, because that's what Morehouse men do. And as I think about what the president said, I was actually there on stage, and I heard President Obama speak. And I have to tell you, I mean, he's a gifted orator. He definitely connected with the African-American community, and particularly African-American males. I think it was more of a family speech. It's something that I would share with my 12-year-old son, Miles, who was there with me and who was there watching the graduates, the 500 black men come into the grounds for graduation. It was great. But at the same time, you have to ask the question, should we have kept this in a kind of closed door kind of setting, particularly when some of the things that were played out. And as I look at the headlines that are out there, you do have to raise the question, should we have talked about this more in a closed setting versus something in an open setting? I do think the president is right. We do have to take responsibility. Young men do have to hold themselves accountable. But at the same time, the larger community of America thinks that people are not responsible. The African-American men are not responsible. And this is Morehouse. It is the Black Harvard. And so these are men who are already taking responsibility, already who are leaders, and who are already going to do great things in life.
Reverend Kevin Johnson, thank you, sir, for making time for me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
The Supreme Court about to rule on several major cases. Coming up next, the Cycle's Ari Melber is going to walk us through the issues